You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I want black journalists everywhere.
Right.
I want us on all platforms. I want us to absolutely be able to go do a job, not deal with bigotry, not deal with racism, not deal with all of these slights and things along those lines. But I also want our people to understand how those institutions have been constructed. CBS didn't just overnight become CBS. CBS is now Viacom CBS. CBS was started before Bill Paley bought it, and then Bill Paley took it over. And then all of a sudden, then grew that thing, went from radio to television, and they began to add other assets. Sumner Redstone then comes in with National Amusements, takes over Viacom, then gets CBS. I mean, that's how these conglomerates were actually built, how they were constructed. What I need our people to understand is racism also led to that in that they had access to capital, they had access to bankers, access to money, access to advertising, and while you had black folks who were over here trying to build the very same things but had none of that access. And so if you look at, again, and what I'm trying to get people to understand why it's important to listen to what Greg said. Freedom's Journal, March 16th, 1827, wrote, "We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us." You don't have Emmett Till's photo on the front of Jet and the Chicago Defender and the Tri-State Defender unless they are black owned. That's why I took offense when Doris Kearns Goodwin had the audacity on Meet the Press to give the New York Times praise for putting his picture on the front page. And I was like, boo, they came after the fact. And so too many of our people, and I'm saying this specifically, I'm not talking about any particular black journalist. I'm speaking of our audience, Greg, of our people, which includes all black people. There are too many black people whose lives are being dictated by white validation.
It's
Joe Scarborough.
true.
Let me tell you something right. Joe Scarborough regularly wears zip-ups on the air. There is no way in hell a black anchor could easily just wear zip-ups on air and not have a consultant say, I'm sorry, that look is not quite professional. But whiteness allows for him to be able to do that. And what we then do is foster that same viewpoint. So I know a lot of y'all out there, I've heard y'all, and yes, I have 120 suits at home. That's winter suits. I have another 60 summer suits. But the reason y'all have rarely seen me put a suit on this show, because I'm doing it for a reason. Because I want you to understand, it ain't about this, it's about this.
That's right. Roland, you know, and whether it be Reese or Erica, myself, Julianne Malveaux, Scott, any of the people we see, Monique, anybody who is regularly with you in this journey, we've all made very deliberate decisions. I remember when MSNBC came to the campus of Howard University to do one of their forums on race. And they didn't have anyone from Howard involved in the conversation that was on stage.
So they came to Howard, but had nobody from Howard.
Well, they wanted to rent the Howard brand, the HBCU brand. And they've done it before, they'll do it again. And you know, the sad part about it is that many of our Negro institutions are pleased to just be invited into the conversations. They have no problem with that. Well, near the end, one of the producers gave me a microphone. They had asked me to be on call in case they wanted a Howard voice in. And within the space of about 5 minutes, I went after everybody, beginning with Brian Williams. and tried to correct the record, almost Roland Martin style. You know how you do, brother. You would have done an incredible more job. But they was
You mean, you went off the way me and you first met at 12 Years a Slave?
My child, oh my God, Shanice Thompson, who's on the faculty of Bowie State University. That child, it started with, you were talking about, you said you're a free black man. I've now since recognized that you are. And she said, how can you be free with the prison industrial complex? I said, that's absurd. You're absurd. We started beefing. I didn't know you had Twitter fingers like that. You came for me. The whole Howard crew came for you. Next thing you know, we rolling.
I'm telling y'all, all of Howard people, man, you ain't gonna debate Dr. Carr. I said, bring your ass.
Bring your ass, come on. No,
I said, I ain't scared of no damn Dr. Carr.
No question. No question. And that's the way it's supposed. But see, this is important right here. Why? Because you couldn't do that to Brian Williams. They're just gonna disappear you. You can't do that to Chris Cuomo, who likes to put his best black act on, coming after Don Lemon, because them cats is insecure with it. So but what happened, I'm bringing the MSNBC example up because what happened in the wake of that, I got a call. Folks are saying, oh, you might be interested in having you. But I realized what happened, and you helped me years later understand what would happen after that. I was brought up in the same way Gerald Horne is brought up. I was brought up the same way Malcolm Nance was probably brought up until he came through here, which is, oh, no, that's too black. And if you ever noticed that, well, and Reese, you brought up to this point as well. See, I remember when Don Lemon was on NBC affiliate in Philadelphia. And now this story, listening to Don Champion, is making me think about when Don Lemon was on early mornings in Philadelphia. And as I said, we had WHAT. And when I would leave, get to go to the Amtrak station to take the train to work at Howard, which I did for 10 years in Philadelphia, the first thing I would hear on the radio when I would turn on was our friend and brother Jeremiah Wright, because Cody Anderson, the owner of WHAT, played Jeremiah Wright every morning because Jeremiah Wright's father, Jeremiah Wright Sr., was the pastor of Grace Church in Germantown. This is the power of black media. But I'm bringing all that up, and then I would turn that off, turn on the TV, and there's Don Lemon, the local affiliate. He left Philadelphia soon thereafter off of some it was in the wake of some scandalous stuff. There was a sister, Sharon Reed. There was a black woman who was a local reporter who was out in the field. There was all kind of emails. They drummed all of those black reporters out of the city, and that ain't even a CBS affiliate. It was NBC. Shortly thereafter, Don Lemon shows up in Atlanta at CNN. So I'm saying all that as background to say this. The decisions that we make have to be more mature decisions, because it doesn't matter if, and you know everybody black on all of those networks, on all of those cable shows. I know a lot of those folks, particularly the academics, many of whom are my friends. I know the conversations they have when they're not on the air, because they have them with all of us. And then I know the conversations they have on the air, and I'm watching them live in those straitjackets. I'm watching them pray for something to erupt. Remember when Don Lemon was the biggest punchline in black communities for his anti-black stances? I was in Baltimore in the yard in front of the Baltimore City Hall when the Freddie Gray thing went down, and Don Lemon came to do the local spot. And let me tell you, I was there. Them Baltimore Negroes was like, yeah, you better get him a police escort in this city. And Don Lemon had to literally be protected from them. And them is the same Negroes who watch Roland Martin Unfiltered. Everybody who watches, who I see, I went out twice this week. I had to go out Sunday morning. I'm in the bookstore, Sankofa bookstore, and there was a sister there named Racine from Seattle, Washington. She said, tell Roland Martin I watch him all the time. The next morning, I had a call on something. We're working on a curriculum project. 3 continents were involved: Africa, Europe, and here. The sister who was on from Africa, who's not Nigerian, lives in London. She said, tell Roland Martin I don't miss any of the shows. Let me tell y'all something, white media, and all the black folks on there who really want a little bass in their voice. But did you hear Don Champion? The straitjacket you have to live in, the restraint you have to live under, the fear, the harness on your life force. You better come on over here to the free Africans, because I'm going to tell you right now, life is too short to eat your entire soul and then have to wait to the end of your life to publish the memoir that 5 people will read, and then had to be interviewed by some worthless, narrow interpreter of American history like Doris Goodwin, or sit up in front of Chuck Todd and watch him, like Joe Scarborough, choke his deep insignificance and insecurities through that little over those vocal cords and Joe Scarborough will be a joke. He wouldn't last 20 minutes on this show.
Every single night. We've got some of the top black experts. You're not going to see them on cable news or broadcast news because you swear black people aren't experts when it comes to this health crisis. That's why we have this show and why we do what we do every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Joining us right now is retired General Russell Honore, the nation's first black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders. John Hope Bryant, he is the founder of Operation Hope. Senator Kamala Harris of California, Dr. Cedrina Calder, retired General Lloyd Austin, Congresswoman Karen Bass, Commissioner Omari Hardick, Bureau President in Brooklyn, Eric Adams, Dr. Joseph Graves, America's Wealth Coach, Deborah Owens, Dr. Corey Abear, Patel Saul, Howard University student, Pastor Jamal Bryant, Dr. Christy McDowell, Benja Ajilore, senior economist at the Center for American Progress, Gilda Daniels, again, author of the book, The Crisis of Voter Suppression in America. 4 stars, General Kip Ward. Dr. Oliver Brooks is president of the National Medical Association, president of the American Medical Association, Dr. Patrice Harris. Joby Benjamin, Dr. Alexia Gaffney, infectious disease specialist, Dr. Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association, Malcolm Nance, family medicine physician, Dr. Jen Caudle, Dr. Tashaka Cunningham, a molecular biologist, Kat Stafford. She's a national race and ethnicity reporter for the Associated Press. Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, who is the president of Howard University, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke from the state of New York, William Spriggs, AFL-CIO economist, Andrea James, executive director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. All right, let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Eddie British Johnson of Texas, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, mental health clinician Jamie Singletary, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy, as well as Dylan Hayrie, ACLU Justice Division strategist. Dr. Cindy Duke, she is a virologist. Principal Steve Perry of Capitol Prep. Health and wellness specialist Dr. Yolandra Hancock, Desmond Meade, president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, Cliff Albright, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter, Michael Harriot with The Root, the Mina McWhorter, founder of Love by the Hand, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist president, Emerita Bennett College, coroner Michael Fowler, is a mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, mental health therapist Suzette Clark, Justin Gibney, attorney and political strategist, and Bishop Vincent Matthews Jr., Dr. Suzette McKinney, CEO and executive director of the Illinois Medical District, Dr. Leon Madugal, president-elect of the National Medical Association, Jana Bailey, Mayor of Moss Point, Mississippi, Mario King. We're going to keep driving this thing to make sure our people are fully aware, safe, protected from coronavirus. You're getting the top medical experts, the top business experts, top political experts, top religious experts, because that's why we do what we do. Unapologetically and unfiltered. Ain't nobody else in the black media space doing what we do. Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.